Hey, welcome to my weekly rant. Only, well, this time it's not a rant. Everything's actually going pretty good for a change. I just dropped my friend Gina off at the airport here in Reno. She's headed back to Arkansas, and I'm headed back to the room because she had an early flight. I had to get up at 5:45 a.m. to take her to the airport, which I did because I'm a good friend. But I have the room until 11 a.m. and you know me, I always need my Wi-Fi from these hotels, so I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of the 4 more hours I have in that room to go back and do some editing. Anyway, it's just impossible to complain about anything on a beautiful morning like this. The sun is just coming up over the mountains, and it's going to be a scorcher, which unfortunately doesn't really bode that well for my plans for the next couple days, which I'll get into in a bit. But right now it's so nice that, well, by golly, I just can't seem to get upset about anything. Incidentally, you're probably wondering why I look like I was going to say a chauffeur, but I guess more like an admiral. Well, that's because we just got off that houseboat trip. And my friend, the one that I helped with the knee surgery, who kind of booked the whole trip, he bought these colored captain's hats for everyone. So mine just happened to be pink. And gosh, I just liked wearing it so much that, well, I decided to keep wearing it even after the houseboat. And people do look at me funny, but I've got a lot of compliments on it too, so I don't plan to quit wearing it anytime soon. Be advised. Here we are in beautiful downtown Reno at sunrise. The promise of a new day. All the people of Reno bustling about in preparation for another busy day of tourists and money spenders. And then there's me, headed over to the cheap part of town. I'm staying here at the Sands Regency, which had a rate of about $30 a night, and then you factor in resort fees. This place adds up to, was like $60. So I'm just gonna go ahead and park here. Ugh. Unfortunately, I gotta mask up to get in this hotel. They're pretty strict about things at casinos nowadays because of the virus. In fact, we had to get temperature checked when we came in with a thermometer on our foreheads to make sure we weren't carrying the COVID. But we passed that test, and I guess as long as I wear the sticker and keep my mask on, I'll be okay. Alright, let's go up to the room and make some friggin' coffee. And then I'll tell you what I plan to do after this. Pretty depressing in the casino first thing in the morning, let alone during a pandemic. Ugh, get this stinking mask off and open this drape to let in some natural light. What a view. Look at this view from my window. This is looking west towards the Sierras, towards Donner Pass, as a matter of fact, back yonder. But there's the hotel pool, and there's the giant metal statue of a Genghis Khan or somebody. I think it's a leftover from Burning Man, because the Burning Man festival actually takes place only a couple hours north of Reno. So while normally this time of year, the city is full of hippies and freaks and weirdos headed out there, but because of the dang coronavirus, Burning Man was canceled too. But, well, I'll get to that in a minute. First, let me make some coffee. Much better. Okay, so where were we? Well, I wasn't ranting and raving. Everything was going well. I dropped Gina off at the airport. Yeah, we had a great time on the houseboat. We were out there for 4 or 5 days on beautiful Lake Shasta. I didn't shoot any video out there because, well, not everybody on that boat wanted to be on blast. It was a very diverse crew. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, there was hippies, doctors, party girls, a little this, little that. It was an interesting mix for sure. And before you even ask, my one doctor friend did take everyone's temperature when we got on board. Nobody was sick, even though my friend from Arkansas said her boss had COVID like 2 weeks ago. I think it was over 2 weeks ago he tested positive, and he didn't get a severe case, and he was cleared, so knock wood, I'll be okay. I feel fine. He checked our temperatures yesterday or the day before when we left, and we were still fine, so I think I dodged the corona bullet on the houseboat. But I didn't shoot really any footage because, well, there was a lot of people on the boat, and like I said, not everyone wants to be on TV. And, well, to be honest, mostly what we were doing is just sitting around drinking and floating. My doctor friend, not only did he buy all these hats for everybody and take everyone's temperature, but he also spent, golly, he must have spent a couple $100 on floaties. Tons of different floaties. Now, speaking of floaties, you might remember my floaty busted last week or a couple weeks ago when I was at a hot spring, and I couldn't find one anywhere, and, well, I couldn't order one on Amazon because I'm traveling. Well, I didn't know my doctor friend was going to order a bunch of floaties. But meanwhile, one of my viewers kindly got me a floaty and dropped it off at the hotel in Chico. I don't know how this guy knew I was going to be there. I guess he assumed that because I stayed at the Residence Inn in Chico last time, I'd be there again. Well, he was right. When I arrived, there was a package waiting for me with a brand new floaty in my favorite color. I'm not sure you can tell what my favorite color is from just looking at this scene. Pink. Anyways, thank you, Tim, for the awesome pink floaty. It was well used on the lake. But my friend, my doctor friend also bought a ton of other floaties shaped like an avocado, a shark, a swan, a bald eagle, and, well, he got this Trump floaty. And I happen to have brought this patriotic USA one-piece bathing suit that frankly looks, well, it looks un-American when I wear it because I've got so much body hair poking out at inopportune places, if you know what I mean. But I thought it'd be a cool picture if I put on the USA bikini and got in the Trump floaty. Wah, USA! So I posted it on my Instagram, and, well, for the most part, the comments were polite, but I did get a few people threaten to unsubscribe and unfollow me. Basically cancel me because I was in a Trump floaty. And, well, I guess when you're like a YouTube creator, you're putting out content that a lot of people consume. You have to be mindful of props that are in your pictures. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to take anything seriously. I was just having a good time and having a little fun with a Trump floaty, and doesn't reflect on my personal politics, which anyone who has half a friggin' brain and has watched my videos with any degree of attention would probably figure out that I'm not a big, you know. Well, we'll just leave it at that. Anyways, I got some flack for the Trump floaty, and oh my god, it made me so glad that I was out in the middle of a lake on a houseboat away from the world, if only for just a few days. So anyways, we got off the boat. Well, let's see. Today is Friday, September 4th. Today's Friday, September 4th. Last weekend of summer. What happened to this summer? But we left Chico yesterday. We came back here to Reno because, well, Gina's flight was, you know, so dang early in the morning. I really didn't want to have to drive 3 hours from Chico to bring her to the airport. You know what I mean? So we got a room here at the Sands, and we kind of went out and walked around Reno last night, and let me tell you something. Whoo-wee. We did the same thing when I picked her up in Reno, and Reno is in a very, well, I was going to say rough shape, but it's an interesting shape, because Reno's in the middle of two different situations. One, COVID, which has pretty much decimated the party scene and the hotel scene, which, you know, Reno was never really as big as Vegas to begin with, but people would come here in the summer every weekend for biker rallies and concerts and parties, and normally you'd walk down the street here in front of where all the casinos are, and there'd be tons of people out there, music, and people drinking. Well, it was... I'm not going to say too much about it because I actually found it so fascinating. I made a whole separate video about it, so you can check that out. I'll put that up as like a bonus video. Anyway, we walked around Reno last night, but we kind of just went to bed early because, well, she's got to get on back to Arkansas, and I have to get on back to my road trip. Now, at the beginning of this road trip, I had planned to be gone for 5 weeks, and I had a pretty ambitious itinerary. And so far, well, I've been able to hit most of the places that I want to do on that itinerary. I mean, I had to abort mission up on the Olympic Peninsula, but aside from that, I was able to visit most of the places I wanted to, and I didn't really have a concrete plan for this part of the trip. I had sort of thought, well, I should go visit my mom because her birthday's coming up, and well, thankfully, her cabin escaped the forest fire. I mean, it came really close when she and my sister were evacuated for like a week, and when they finally came back, they said everything was covered in ash, and it was like the whole area is just real creepy. So I was gonna go visit her for her birthday, but I thought, with all that fire stuff going on, A, and B, well, I did just come off that houseboat with a bunch of people, and my little sister, who's living with her right now, she's very cautious about COVID, so I don't want to intrude on their clean zone, you know what I mean, with all my houseboat germs, and now I got all these Reno germs, and oh my goodness, well, you know me, I get around, I pick up a lot of germs. And then I thought, well, since I'm going to be in Reno anyways, and this is, right, Burning Man should be going on right now. For those of you who don't know, you probably do from watching my channel by now, it's this, Burning Man is this big festival they used to hold every year in the desert, about 2 hours north of Reno. On a big flat dry lake bed, 80,000 people would show up, and everybody would build these elaborate structures, you know, tents and little bars and lounges and cafes, and you just walk around, eat and drink and party and dance and look at art. Well, they canceled that this year because of the virus, but apparently it's such a huge part of so many people's lives. I mean, there's people who identify as burners because they go to Burning Man. Like, that's their whole identity. Well, there's a lot of those people who are just completely at a loss right now, like, what to do? Our reason for living has been canceled. That apparently a decent-sized number of them have gone up to the playa, the dry lake bed, anyways, despite the fact that Burning Man was canceled. And so initially I thought, oh wow, that'd be interesting to see. I mean, because Burning Man, when it first started, it was just a group of friends that would go out to the desert and party. But as it got bigger and bigger and grew into the thousands and then tens of thousands of attendees, well, then they had to start getting permits and sanitation, and you know, it just became like this big thing where you had to pay and get tickets. So there's a lot of people who think, well, this is our big chance to go do Burning Man like it was back in those days. You know, there's no oversight, there's no middleman, we don't have to buy tickets, we can just go out there and clean up after ourselves, which I'm hoping they do. And to be honest, I kind of thought about, oh wow, that would be neat to go out and experience like renegade Burning Man without any rules, so to speak. From what I've seen on social media, it's fine to be out there. You know, I saw both. Like, oh, the Native American tribes out there, because it's kind of near some Native American reservations. The tribes don't want anyone coming out there. But then I've also seen, like, no, the tribes do want people coming out there and spending money at the little, you know, there's a few tiny little towns you pass through on the way. And those towns used to make a pretty good chunk of change off all them rich hippies rolling through on their way to and from Burning Man. You know, like they would sell Indian tacos. They would pay to take your trash after the event. They'd pay to pump your black and gray water out of your RV. I mean, they were making money every which way off of this crowd of 80,000 people that passed through this normally very desolate area. So I've seen both. I've seen that they don't want people there, they do want people there. Either way, as long as you don't mess with the native reservation and just go to the dry lake bed, apparently it's perfectly fine and perfectly legal. But then I also heard a conspiracy theory. Now, normally I'm not much for conspiracy theories, but, well, this one's pretty funny. So, obviously the people who run Burning Man have made a lot of money off of the event. I mean, now they charge about $500 a ticket. 80,000 people go to this thing. Well, you do the math. The little group of friends who just started this casual party are now like probably millionaires. So they bought a ranch up near where the Burning Man Festival is, the Fly Geyser Ranch. You may have heard of the Fly Geyser. It's a really beautiful, I think it's a natural formation of minerals and earth with a hot spring fountain coming out of it. And I guess the minerals are all different colors, green and red and orange. And so it's this crazy multicolored, like volcano looking thing with a hot spring coming out of it. And oh gosh, it looks amazing. And I sure would like to go out and see it, but now it's on private property. It's owned by these rich Burning Man people. So the rumor has it that, well, since Burning Man was canceled, all those uppity mucky mucks in the Burning Man organization are having their own private party at Fly Ranch. out there right now, while all us suckers are sitting home whining and complaining about how we didn't get to go to Burning Man. So I'd also like to go up there just to snoop around and see if that's actually the case. I don't think it is, but hey, you never know. So what I decided to do, since my time is open and I don't really want to go to my mom's, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive up to the area where Burning Man is and camp out and make do a live on the scene report of what's going on up there. Now, I'm not going to party, although I'll be honest, I will be tempted because, well, a bunch of friends of mine are up there partying. But A, I really feel like it's irresponsible to gather in large numbers right now because it's a friggin' pandemic. And B, well, to be honest, I'm already kind of partied out from that houseboat. We went pretty hard a few nights on there. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting back out to the middle of nowhere and being by myself. So I think what I'm going to do is it's only 2 hours from here. Once they kick me out of this hotel room, I'm going to go try to find a dang propane canister for my camp stove. There's an REI here in town that if anywhere has it, should be them. So I'll try to get some fuel for my stove. Then I got to go to Walmart, pick up a few supplies, and then I'm going to head out there and just, see what I see. Live on the scene, Wonderhussy News Network. Unfortunately, I forgot my microphone. I do have a little fake prop microphone I made. I left it at home, so I got to go try to find something else I can use as a prop microphone. And then I'll go out there and do my little report. And then I'll camp out overnight, see what I can see at nighttime. They should have lights and stuff going. And, well, tonight's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday. I really feel like I should stay both nights to get a full view of the party. And also just be out in the desert alone, which sounds friggin' awesome after being cooped up on a boat with 10 people for 5 days, you know what I mean? The only downside is, it's like I was saying earlier in the video, it's supposed to be really hot today and tomorrow. I think today's supposed to be 103 in that area, and then tomorrow 102. So camping on a dry lake bed in 100-degree weather really doesn't sound like all that pleasant, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's just something I should do in the name of journalism, because I guarantee there's going to be all these crazy stories in the media about what happened at Burning Man this year, rogue Burning Man, and, well, you know me, I like to see what's going on the ground with my own two peepers and share it with you so that you don't get misinformed. Like earlier, a couple weeks ago, I was up in Portland checking out that scene, and, well, gosh, I've been a number of places lately that I feel like have been misrepresented in the media. Well, the world at large, for starters. And then, too, there's been some videos made about Burning Man. Last year, in particular, a big channel made a video about how disgusting Burning Man is and what a mess they leave behind. And it was the most inaccurate. I mean, it was clickbait, dude, the way these people did this video. It was terrible. So I want to go up there, and even though my channel doesn't have that big of a reach, show people what's really going on. So... like I said, I'm going to hang out in the room for a bit, then I'm going to go do my errands, buy my supplies, and then roll out there late afternoon, hopefully when it's, starting to cool down a bit, and just see what I see. Find a place to camp that's sort of near where everybody else is, but not right on them, and then, do some snooping around. And then to reward myself, after that, I think I might go to a hot spring in the mountains for a couple days just to cool off. And, well, golly, by then it'll be time to do some editing again, so I'm going to need a place to sit and work that isn't 1,000 degrees. And then from there, well, I guess from there I'll go home, because, golly, it has actually been, I think it's been 4 weeks. And by the time I do all this, it'll have almost been 5 weeks. And, well, I said I was going on a 5-week trip, so I guess I earned the right to finally go home and take a nice shower and sleep in my own bed for a few days, you know what I mean? So... I think I've been yakking so long. It's 8 a.m. I have 3 more hours in this room. I need to edit this video and upload this video so that you can watch this video. And then, well, by golly, then I'm going to head out. So stay tuned and see what happens next. Should be interesting. Never a dull moment. I'm going to get to work.